on being mean to nice people. Hello and welcome to Words Matter, the show where we talk about words and how we abuse them. Today we're having a word battle. Kind versus nice. Nice and kind are two words we often use interchangeably, but the truth is they have a very different impact on our minds in how they affect our actions and how they affect our social interactions. The big difference between nice and kind is, in a nutshell, being nice is about looking good and being kind is about doing good. Some of the worst people you will encounter in this world act nice, while only the best people earn a reputation for being kind. Being nice is an act. The hard truth about human nature is that we want to look good far more than we want to do good. Being nice is a set of shallow external actions that we can do to look good and pat ourselves on the back. When we tell the waiter, "Oh, the food's great," even though it's obviously terrible, we think we're being nice. When we tell a friend, "Hey, that haircut looks great," even though it's actually pretty awful, we think we're being nice. When someone says, "Hey, where would you like to go eat?" and we say, "Oh, wherever, I'm flexible," we think we're being nice. In reality, these things are just conflict-avoiding, often passive-aggressive, and frankly unhealthy behaviors. The practice of being nice is mostly a survival tactic and a way to control social status. It's a way we control how people look at us. We adopt these to avoid confrontation, to hide our feelings, and to try and control the perception of others.
Now, Jacob, play nicely.
Being kind, on the other hand, means the only thing going on in your mind when you act is the well-being of another person. Kindness is something you do to benefit someone without needing payback or return. Niceness is how we climb the social ladder, but kindness is how we lift others up. The easiest way to know if you're being nice or being kind is if you expect something in return. Do you only wave "good morning," expecting them to wave back at you with a nice smile? And do you get resentful when they don't? Do you hold the door open for people and then get mad when they don't say thanks as they walk by? If you get offended that people aren't acknowledging how nice of a person you are, then you're certainly not being kind. Being kind doesn't always feel good. If your friend's breath stinks today and you don't tell them, at some point they're probably going to find out, and they're going to wonder why someone who they trust didn't point it out to them. They may feel embarrassed. I think we all do when we have bad breath. But the point is, they're going to feel grateful that someone told them so they could do something about it.
Mint.
And yes, saying something like, "Dang, Julie, your breath is terrible." Well, that's probably not the kindest way to approach the situation. Sure. However, pulling a friend aside and saying, "Hey, Julie, your breath is a bit off today," can be a genuinely kind service. It feels scary. You do worry that you might offend them. But doing this helps build trust so that people feel they can rely on you for honest feedback. How often have we gone all day with our fly down and no one told us? Or something in our teeth. It adds to our collective social anxiety when no one around us is telling us the truth, leaving us to just constantly wonder in a state of ever-growing paranoia, did anybody notice?
Well done, old chap. Jolly good work.
Yes, nice to mole you. Meet you. Nice to meet you, Mole. Mole.
Mole, 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 mole.
Okay, look, for those of you old enough to remember the first few seasons of American Idol, there were two judges particularly notorious, and that was Simon Cowell, who was known for being basically a complete asshole, and Paula Abdul, who was the nice judge. Okay, here's the thing. If you got done singing and Paula Abdul said, "Oh, honey, you're a great singer," you still don't know if you can sing. But if Simon Cowell says, "Excellent, that was amazing," then you know you're a good singer. And don't get me wrong, I'm not trying to say Simon Cowell is a perfect example of a kind person. So I don't know much about him. The point is, he was offering a genuinely helpful service, both to the singers and to the American music-loving public. For example, I like to sing, and I once asked my wife, "Hey, do you think I'm a good singer?" And she said, "Oh dear, you're really good at whistling." And yes, that may sting a little bit, but that's the kind of honest feedback that has saved countless people from unnecessary suffering. People often think kindness is weak. No. Being a kind person genuinely requires courage and conviction. Kind people are some of the strongest people you will ever meet. Real life, nice villains and kind heroes. While we seem to get confused between kind and nice in real life, in our stories, we get it straight most of the time. We love characters that eschew all pretense of being nice and focus on being kind with their actions. For example, Wednesday Addams from the new Netflix series.
Why would I agree to spend the entire day at some dumpy emporium of Prepola?
Because Ajax is going to be volunteering there. Things sneaked a peek at his assignment. But if you're not interested...
No! Oh my god, thank you! You're the best.
Crowley from Good Omens.
That was very kind of you.
Shut up.
Several of my favorite doctors from Doctor Who. Off from Avatar: The Last Airbender. There's something just genuinely refreshing about characters that seem to throw off all pretense of being nice, and yet when it comes down to it, always choose to act with kindness. Being nice and being kind can affect your mental health. Look, there really is an important reason to learn to distinguish between these things, not just for the sake of society, but for yourself as well. Being nice is actually pretty bad for your mental health. Being nice, ironically, can wear you out and make you a cynical jerk. It takes energy to spend all day putting on pretense and trying to tailor your behavior to what you think will get the most approval from others. And then you also start to build this resentment on the inside that no one's rewarding you for your great behavior. Kindness, on the other hand, is liberating because you're not burdening your mind with just what everyone thinks about you. You're just genuinely thinking about the well-being of others. And thinking about the well-being of others is genuinely healthy. Sometimes being kind can be scary. It can feel bad. It can create a little bit of tension because you're letting go of trying to control other people's behavior and do things that are genuinely good for others. And sometimes that means confrontation. Sometimes that means pointing something unpleasant out. But it builds real trust and it builds healthy relationships. And most of all, you're just letting your guard down and being yourself. You don't have to live every day putting on a show. You just have to live every day trying to do your best. And in the end, that's what most of us want anyway. If you are someone who thinks of yourself as a nice person, and yet you spend an awful lot of time thinking about how other people don't seem to appreciate just how nice of a person you are.
Say something nice.
The truth of the matter is, your nice behavior comes from an unspoken expectation of reciprocity and you grow resentment that other people aren't living up to their end of the deal. It's like that whole nice guys finish last thing. That is always a statement being said from someone who was expecting a pat on the back for being nice. Kindness, on the other hand, brings joy into your life because as you practice kindness, you start to learn how much power you have as an individual to bring a little bit of happiness into the lives of others. You don't compliment people because you want them to like you. You compliment people because you genuinely had something to compliment them on and hopefully thought it would make their day a little better. You aren't polite because you want people to respect you. You're polite because you actually care about other people's feelings. Kindness is an amazing power in this world, not the least of which reason is because there's so little of it. Driving in the nail. Nice people really want to think of themselves as good people. And in doing so, they are the most dangerous people of all. Because when they do harmful, hateful things, they tell themselves they do them for good reasons. Kind people don't assume they're good. Kind people appreciate our capacity for doing good and harmful things, which is why they make an intentional effort to act kindly. Kind people look at the consequences and the outcomes of their actions, not their intention in doing them. Most of all, kind people are so effective at doing good because they practice doing good. They learn from their mistakes and acknowledge when they mess something up. You know who's really good at being nice? Sociopaths, politicians, used car salesmen. I realize that's all redundant, but it drives the point home. Nice people spend their time reading books like How to Fool Enemies and Manipulate People. Oh, I'm sorry, it's How to Win Friends and Influence People. Kind people, on the other hand, read books like Crucial Conversations, so they can learn how to handle tough conversations better and improve their relationships as opposed to just trying to manage them. The only thing being nice and being kind have in common is that both require practice. The more you practice being a nice person, the better you get at it. The better you get at fooling everyone and tailoring your behavior for everyone's approval. The more you practice being kind, the better you get at learning what things people really need and learn about yourself and how to build good relationships. The truth of the matter is we like to think that what we do comes from what we are. But it's actually the other way around. What we do makes us what we are. Doing anything well takes practice, and what we practice is what we become.
I used to punch the ironwood trees by the palace to train. Now I feel nothing.
Words really do matter, and it's why I do this series. By conflating being kind with being nice, we create a situation where nice people are able to go hidden in society, and kind people are often overlooked. By knowing the difference, we can do a better job at pointing out a wolf in sheep's clothing versus a diamond in the rough. Or perhaps it'll even help you see through the traps in your own thinking as you examine your own behavior. Our world has an overstock of nice people, but we are starving for kind people. That's it for this episode of Words Matter, and remember, always try to use words good.